Hey guys, Helen Hartsmith here again from the Heart of the Witch's Path YouTube channel. Hope you're having a good day. I totally am. Sorry no new videos last week. It was a bit of a crazy week. Birthday week. Let's just leave it at that. I don't think I've really talked about when my birthday occurs. I don't know. But it just so happens that my birthday and the roomie's birthday are 4 days apart. Generally, they're always going to be technically in the same week, but that means a lot of celebrating, and Lee's birthday is in there too. So April's a pretty busy month for us, and there was a lot going on. So sorry that we didn't get a new video out. Try to make up for it this week. How's that? So let's get things going, shall we? So this is another book review. I recently finished this book, Odin, Ecstasy, Runes, and Norse Magic by Diana L. Paxson. This book is copyright 2017. It is about 270 pages, and there's a lot of interesting information in here, and it looks like it runs about $22.95. As always, I will put a link in the description box to Amazon if you wish to purchase this book. But of course, I always encourage folks to check out their local bookstores, your local New Age stores, and things like that when looking at purchasing things. So this book, I was really anticipating this book, really looking forward to reading it. This book is basically a book version of a workshop that Diana Paxson does that's called the 9 Faces of Odin. And I happened to be lucky enough to see or go to that presentation at Convocation 2019 when Diana was there. And I thought that the presentation was incredibly interesting. She talked about the 9 faces of Odin and the different ways in which one can work with him. Diana Paxson has been a follower of Odin for over 20 years. So she has quite a bit of experience when it comes to working with him. And I think that the faces of Odin that she talks about they're very in line with the types of personality that you see if you were to read the Eddas or to get into any of that historical information based on Odin or based around Odin. You're going to see a master of magic. You're going to see the wanderer. You're going to see the psychopomp. You're going to see the battle god. You're going to see the All-Father, and you're going to see the Desired One. Bale Worker and God of the Dead. Those are other titles that are associated with Odin. And so that's what this book covers. And so, as I said, I was highly anticipating reading this particular book. It was a very informative read. You can tell that after 20 plus years of working with this particular god, Diana Paxson definitely has a very well-rounded knowledge of what he's capable of, what he happens to hold sway over, and things like that. She's also got a really learned knowledge of the source material, the prose Edda, things like that. She also cites, there's a sizable bibliography in this book. And so she looks at the works of Edred Thorson. She looks at Snorri. She looks at Tacitus. She looks at her own work, and Neil Price, who is a very well-known scholar when it comes to Norse paganism and its historical significance, and what we've been able to learn from archaeology and things of that nature. So she's definitely got some really good sources in here that she looked at when coming up with this, when writing this particular book. There's also some interesting flavor that you're always going to get with Diana Paxson, as I learned from attending workshops by her. She is very much a singer, which is something that I wish I did more of in my personal practice, but it just hasn't worked out that way. But there are songs that are a part of this book that are really interesting, that you can incorporate into your practice and your work with Odin Father. And so I highly appreciate that. You're also going to find a lot of poetry in this book, both written by Diana and by other people that she happens to know that work with Odin Father. So that part is all interesting. The information presented in this book is very well put together and very thoughtful and concise. Lots of looking back at the Havamal and citing parts of the Havamal when it was appropriate to do so, with a point that she was trying to do. Unfortunately, this book didn't hit the nail on the head for me. I was really looking for a book that talked about her personal practice more, and she does go into her personal practice quite a bit. So it's not that that's lacking, but I feel like it's kind of hard to put it into words, because I've actually finished this book a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still kind of processing what I expected and didn't get from this particular book. And maybe part of the problem is the fact that I had already been to that workshop where she talked about the 9 faces of Odin, and I'm already familiar with the Poetic Edda. I'm already familiar with a lot of historical context and things like that. So maybe it was a lot of like going back over information that I already knew. But I didn't get what I was hoping to. And I think a lot of that was the incredibly personal practice, and how does that relate to what my personal practice is? What are things that I could possibly be incorporating into my practice? I think this is an incredible book. It's very well done. Just not necessarily what I was looking for in this particular book. So when it comes to actually I've been really torn about giving the rating, because I want to say that on my Goodreads, my initial response to rating it when I finished it, I rated it pretty low, and I think that's because I was just feeling very let down by what I didn't get out of it. But upon reflecting on what the contents of the book actually was, there is good information in here. I think on my Goodreads, I think I only put like 2 of 5 stars. And I think that was a bit harsh. And I think I'll probably go back and kind of, revisit that rating. And it's really hard for me to, I don't understand it. It's a great book, and it's one that I would recommend if you're interested in Norse paganism, if you're interested in Odin, of course, in particular. I would recommend this book, especially because you probably haven't had the opportunity to participate or, be presented the information of the workshop. So I think realistically, this book is probably, it's at least a 3 broom, if not a 4 broom. I don't tend to like to cut things down the middle too much, so I don't want to go 3.5. I would say I'm going to give it a nice solid 3 brooms, creeping up on that 4. Just because if you're really looking for personal practice work, I think I would recommend the Odin book by Morgan. I think her name is Morgan Diamler. It's part of the Pagan Portals series done by Moon Books. It's a 100-page book. It's a super quick read, and I felt like I got more of that daily practice connection out of that book than I did this particular one. So read both of them and kind of I would be interested to hear anyone's take on either or both books. And I think I have done a review on that particular book, so I'll put a link in the description box for that one as well, so you can kind of get my thoughts on that one a little bit more. So it's definitely worth reading. Odin, Ecstasy, Runes, and Norse Magic by Diana L. Paxson. If you enjoyed this video or learned something from it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. There's going to be links in the description box, as I said, to purchase this book for the other book review. Things like that, so be sure to check them out. There will also be links for the Facebook page, my Instagram, Kathy's Instagram. Feel free to follow either one of us or both of us on those platforms. And I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching. As always, I am incredibly happy to spend some time with y'all here on the interwebs, and that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and thanks for taking the time to walk the path for a little while with me. Until next time, blessed be.